Merrill College, which in the past some critics have alleged to be, quote, sterile, is now pulsing with passion. That passion? Fury, over the repainting of one of the college's explosively famous murals. BSN's Nick Fry went all the way up that big-ass hill to get the story. Nick?
This is Nick Fry reporting from the Merrill College Moat, where the typical Marillion calm has been subverted by discourse and calls to action. The root of this tumult? This mural here behind me. The mural, referred to as Prejudice, is one of almost 150 which adorn the Merrill Moat. It, with 9 others, was selected to be removed and repainted in a ceremony referred to as Moat Day. Students created and submitted designs to replace the murals, which had been chosen to be whitewashed through a Merrill student body-wide vote. The controversy arose when Prejudice had been slated to be removed, but was saved at the cost of a second mural, which was whitewashed in its place.
Well, what happened was that we had someone on staff not follow the orders of the MSG, which just voiced the will of the Merrill people, and so there was discretion between the staff and the orders of the students, and we've cleared that up, and we're hoping that that won't happen again.
I just really thought this one was great, and I didn't want to paint it out, and I kept putting it off as long as I could, and then I was told that they needed to be painted out for a Monday, and so I had my student workers paint out the one next to it instead.
I think that the painting over there is, it's a very wonderful, very nice piece of art, but as far as democratic practice and as far as what MSG decided and what, the democratic policy says is that did need to come down. And I think that the one person who, I think it was okay that he didn't paint over it, but I think it's wrong that he painted over something else. Maybe he didn't paint it over and then maybe discuss it. But I just think it was wrong that one person took the action of a whole community.
There was a large controversy over the mural, as we've seen. But the biggest issue was making sure the democratic process was carried out and that representation was actually ensured. Because as voted representatives of Merrill's, the Merrill students, that we felt that if you voted off the mural, that it will come down.
It's one of the only really original ones that's been done in a long time. Generally, what people do is they copy something onto the wall, and that's okay. But the sentiment is much more provocative and sophisticated than a lot of the stuff you see on the wall.
Though the majority of culpability has been placed on staff members,
There was absolutely the communication between the Merrill students and the Merrill student government, perfect. There was nothing wrong with that.
with poor dissemination of information and reported voter turnout of under 20%, perhaps greater factors are at work here.
I'm a Merrill College student. I'm a third year, but I don't live on campus, so I didn't get to vote, which I think is really lame because I have my personal opinions about a lot of these murals. Some should go, some should stay, but it's up to the freshmen to decide.
The student ballots were handed out only to residents on campus, and not even everybody there got one because some of they were given to the RAs to hand out. Some of the RAs didn't do it. So although it is a democratic process somewhat, it was I think a very flawed one.
I got my friends to vote because I was interested in painting on the wall, but people who aren't interested in painting on the wall and not that interested in the moat usually just won't vote.
After many harsh words and almost as many exasperated students, a decision has been made. The plan of action? No action.
And the compromise that was reached is that the mural would come down a year later, as Matt discussed, and we felt that that gave us enough time to find an actual artist that will make a mural contribution that will be on par of what is being replaced. We found that with not enough time, that the mural would be just whitewashed, left with either just plain writing or stenciling, and that didn't seem sufficient. And so, while it is a bit of a delayed justice, we will make sure that the mural is whitewashed and that the democratic process is carried out.
I've upset a lot of people, and I'm sorry. Next year, the people who want to paint out murals can paint them out, but I'm just going to stay out of it from now on.
This is Nick Fry from the Merrill Moat. Back to you in the studio.
The last of the UC student hunger strikers ended their fast last week after the UC Regents agreed to meet with the activists over the summer to discuss the UC sponsorship of nuclear weapons labs. Will the UC ever end its weapons ties? Only paying attention will show.
Speaking of hunger, do you ever find yourself overcome by strange late-night appetites? Do breakfast burritos from the corner 7-Eleven fail to assuage your evening eating urges? Joseph Shaps takes an omnivorous odyssey across the SC in search of restaurants happy to nourish night owls. Joe, bon appetit.
It was late last Tuesday night when it hit, the hunger that comes between dinner and bedtime, during the Animale segment of The World's Funniest Animals. Glancing at the clock, it read 11:48 p.m. Restaurants were closed, and making food was going to be too much work. I had already been to the remodeled Taco Bell on mission 2 times in the past week. My body could not take another onslaught of fast food. I packed my camera and set out to find some place that would satisfy my hunger.
Our first stop on our quest to satisfy our nocturnal munchies took us to Saturn Cafe, located on the corner of Laurel and Pacific.
Saturn Cafe is a vegan restaurant that boasts a wide variety of items to please your appetite.
It's one of the few cafes that's open fairly late at night. I mean, it's going to stay open until, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. So, a lot of the other places are closed. So, that's a few of the reasons I like eating there. I guess I'll probably order the chili here. I guess I like some of the sort of veggie burgers they have, the fries. I like some of their desserts, but I won't be having any tonight. So, anything... I just like the fact that it's got a lot of color. That's kind of like, chain store, chain restaurant, whatever. And this is kind of like, it just got it sort of accumulates all the strange people from town. And, it's just, you never know what's going to happen here. So that's kind of good.
I continued to search for something that would quell my hunger pains. I drove over the San Lorenzo River and came across the Santa Cruz Diner at 909 Ocean Street. The inside gives off a nostalgic feel due to the odd variety of items that adorn the walls.
The service is okay. I mean, if you consider that it's a diner, I don't expect a mint on my pillow, but it's okay. Well, the dining halls are closing, especially the one that I go to, which is Cal Stevenson, which closes at 7 p.m. And, $1,000 that we pay them, I guess doesn't pay for, after 7. So, and this is open 24 hours a day. So when the dining halls are closed, you can see me right here in the Santa Cruz Diner.
After stuffing myself with a French toast plate and some appetizers, we went to Denny's at 1515 Ocean Street to see what they had to offer. I was denied access to film the covert operations that take place within this fortress, despite my attempts to swoon the manager and cook that were smoking outside. Dismayed but not discouraged, I drove my car past some dumpster divers on my way to more round-the-clock restaurants. For those with the sweet tooth, Farrell's provides delicious donuts to the dessert connoisseur. With 2 convenient Santa Cruz locations, one at 2227 Mission Street and one at 1403 Ocean Street, you can never be too far for a trip to Farrell's. I still had one more stop on my journey. Out of the darkness, an illuminated sign beckoned to me. I came upon Jeffrey's, located at 2050 Soquel Drive, another restaurant along the lines of Santa Cruz Diner and Denny's. Jeffrey's menu is filled with unique and delicious foods, in addition to the staple items found in most restaurants. As we ghost rode out of the parking lot, I left the evening with a sense of accomplishment and a full belly.